dream that I was in my house looking out the window, and I saw a bus drop off of what looks like a church event, from a church event, or it just looked like a bunch of believers. I don't know how I would know that, but looking at them, something in me identified the coach bus, and seeing all the people coming out and getting dropped off. Something in me said, "Oh, those are church folks. That's believers." And I kind of was excited to see that. And I opened up the door to kind of just, I don't know, say hello and, kind of introduce myself and just say hi, just so that they know. You feel a connection when you see others with, like you. So I actually opened the door and just said hello, because I think I wasn't necessarily appropriately dressed for outdoors. I think I had on like probably a robe or whatever, and I didn't want to full on open my door. I just wanted to say hello and let them know that I was here. As they were kind of scattered, departing, unloading and departing to go to their respective places. And in saying hello to some of them and nice to meet you and greetings, there was a man that seemed very fascinated by my, I guess, whatever he could peep through my door and see, and wanted to see more inside of my house. And somehow, as I'm talking to some of the other people, he seemed to slip his way inside. And I'm not going to say like slip that I didn't know, because I'm the one holding the door, but I for whatever reason, did not feel, I was trying not to be rude, and I was trying to be welcoming, but what I did was unwillingly allowed him to enter into in the inside of my house, although that was not my purpose in opening the door. And I kept the conversation going with the other women or ladies, and as I'm talking to them, I'm kind of like with one eye, I have my one eye on him to see how far he was going to go, because I didn't even invite him. And he just had this look of like, wow, on his face, like, wow, I want to see the inside of this house. And I'm still kind of trying to hold down this conversation, and I'm watching him, and he's now making his way up, past the initial rooms of my first floor, and I saw him, inching his way kind of like to the midpoint of my staircase, and I can see his feet, his legs and his feet, and I'm saying to myself while I'm talking to them, like, this man just came in my house, and then he got the nerve to have his shoes on, and and I don't wear shoes in my house, and it was my thought process, and he's trying to kind of take a peek up on the second floor, and then I said hello, and I stopped him, and he came back, and he just was like, oh wow, you have very, very high ceilings or whatever, and he made his way back out, and it was very like he crossed, God showed me after, as I try to ponder on what that meant, that boundaries was crossed. So continuing into the dream, because I have multiple scene dreams. That was one scene, and then somewhere in the dream, I'm now not physically there, but watching him. I can see him, but I'm not even in that scene, I guess, of the dream. But I'm seeing that very man, and I guess it appears to be his wife. And the man is, I see a pier type. I see water. I see a body of water, and I see boats, and he didn't. I saw people, like, this was an area where people would go fishing into this body of water, and I thought, as I'm looking, it's like I'm just seeing a vision of him. I thought he was going to be walking to a boat, to get on a boat in this marina type, to go out into the body and of water and fish with his wife. But he instead was fishing directly from the dock, I should say. And so I don't think he had a boat. And so he was fishing from the dock. And him and his wife, he was kind of like, it seemed like this was their, something that they would do, or have done before. And I don't know if he was teaching her, showing her, whatever, but he had his fishing rod, and he would put the bait on it, and he lowered the rod into the water, and I saw other people from their boats doing the same. And what he pulled up from the water was what looked like some type of sea snakes. They looked like snakes, but they were in the water. And he actually was seeking one of that, or was okay with it, rather than he actually pulled it up, and he pulled up two, and he had his wife lay, or I should say, kind of sit and sit back on the dock, and he grabbed the snakes in his hands, and he placed the snakes on her lower half of her body, like her hip, and told her, kept telling her, trying to calm her down and telling her relax, because she was fearful of the snakes. She was uncomfortable, but she wasn't like screaming, but she was trying to stay calm, and he was insisting on her relaxing and actually embracing the snakes. And I heard him say to her, it's okay, you just gotta relax. And yes, they are, they can be dangerous, or, they can be, bite you, but if you just relax and become acquainted with them, they won't cause you any harm. You just have to be comfortable and make them feel comfortable as well. And then you would find that you can actually just basically cohabit with them. When I woke up, I asked God to give me insight, interpretation of this, and why I remember, because what I do is I have dreams, my dreams be all over the place, but there are certain segments of my dreams that are very important or whatever. I ask him to show me if it's important and help me to remember. And before I go into interpretation, after that, I cut to a scene of now I'm in my house, and I see there are some people in there with me. I don't really know who these people are. I'm not sure if these are some of the people that came off that church bus, but I know they were like rehearsing. They were rehearsing and sing like music and practicing for I don't know, some type of music, and they were those that played one that played the piano. I heard drums. I heard singing or whatever, and I was dabbling into, I guess for whatever reason I had to. I'm hearing a tune, and I was getting like it's as if I told I had to write the breakup song, and it was weird. I don't understand how that's significant to this, but I just remember focus on hearing a song, and I'm like, this is a breakup song. This song has to the words of this song, the lyrics of this song, the lyrics that need to go with this tune has to be about a breakup. And then everyone agreed, although we didn't agree on the exact lyrics, because what they were trying to, one person that was in the group practicing and rehearsing would throw out some lyrics and would say some stuff that would make the song very secular, and for whatever, that's what you think when you hear breakup song. And I was feeling like, well, no, that's uncomfortable to me. That doesn't seem appropriate. It sounds like lyrics that would, make people drop it like it's hot. Weird, right? But that's what I was envisioning, and someone was doing when, one of the guys was throwing out lyrics as the music was playing. I said, no, that's not it. That's not what this is. And I was leaning more towards a breakup song that was potent with giving depth and reasoning of why, because of heartache and pain, we have to part ways. And so it wasn't about a club banger. It was it needed to be significant lyrics that would help someone to get through and be strengthened and come out strong on the other side of a breakup. That's what I was explaining to them, and then I woke up. So now, like I said, I asked God for the importance, and those are the pieces of the dream that He kept vivid for me to remember. And so going back to the beginning, as I said, opening up, cracking the door, and trying to make my presence known to this unloading of what I identified as Christians coming off of a church event. And then I, in discussion with them at the door, found out that they were supposed to be going to a church conference event of some sort, but it didn't happen. It didn't take place. It wasn't fulfilled. They were all loaded on a bus, but something happened, and it was either canceled or there was an issue that caused it not to come to take place. So they were having to just disperse and go back home. And they weren't necessarily happy about it. But I was on point in identifying that they were a body of believers that were going out to a specific church event. Now, the man coming into the house, God showed me that what he did was basically cross boundaries. He pushed his limits and he broke boundaries. And that same very man was the one who, him and his wife, and I don't know why I felt like it was like in my dream, is that I don't know why the title, he was him being a pastor or some leader of some sort. I believe that he was a pastor and his wife was a first lady, and she was very submissive to him on that dock when they were going fishing, and she was uncomfortable, but her being submissive to her pastor, to her head, to her husband, she would follow in his lead. And although it was comfortable with what they were doing with fishing for snakes, basically, I believe that God was saying that the body, of water is that's where we are, where God went out and he said, I'll make you fishers of men, and this pastor didn't have a boat. And I don't know, I kind of feel like God was telling me he didn't have a boat. They didn't have a boat because they didn't have a church. They didn't have the tools, and they didn't have a real church, I should say. They didn't have authorization. They didn't have authorization to go out to be fishers of men. And God didn't call him. God didn't give him the authorization to be a fisher of men. And so he was exercising authority in a space that he had no business, and was fishing. It's like he was planted, really more a plant, I should say, and he was willingly seeking out to get snakes from the sea rather than fish, and he was trying to bring up and catch snakes to bring them, to reel them in, versus going out for fish. And so just the way in which he embraced and was trying to get his first lady or his wife to embrace and get comfortable with this process of fishing for snakes and bringing them in close to you, getting acquainted with them, putting it on his body and her body. It was, if you could have saw the way it was in my dream, they were kind of laying down on the dock floor, and he would pull up the snake and slowly, so that the snakes wouldn't bite. It's like he wanted the snakes to know that they were friendly, that they were not enemies with the snake, but that they were the same, and that they can be one. And he had his wife very close. They were kind of like very hip to hip, I should say, or I don't know, the best word is like in a scooping position. And he placed the snakes on both their hips and had the snakes slide up on them to get between them and close so that they can embrace them, I should say, because it was two snakes. And he kept trying to make her stay calm and tell her, if you just calm down, they will know that you're not trying to harm them, so they won't harm you. You just have to make them feel comfortable and make them know that you're like them, because they know they can sense your fear. So calm down and relax and be comfortable with them. In that instant, just as I'm asking God to give me understanding of this, that says to me that that man was that same man that crossed the boundaries when I opened up my house. We have to beware. He represents symbolically that you have to be very, very, very wary and on the lookout of those who want to come into your house and cross and push through boundaries. We have to set boundaries, and you have to stay on guard, and you can't let anybody in. Be watchful, because there are some who are out there who have the appearance of leadership and pastors and people in the church and appearance of godliness, but they are implants to bring in the snakes, and God did not authorize them in the capacity or the role or the title, whatever it is that they're calling themselves. Be wary, be on the lookout, and do not let anybody in your house. And when I say house, I believe that in this instance could be a representative of the church, and because he was very fascinated by my house and how grand it was, and that first meeting me and coming through my house and seeing what I guess he felt, what amazed him. God showed me, I guess, him in another setting of who he really was, and how he would try to probably, he was not like the others, and that was on that bus, or the church people. His spirit was not the same. His spirit was wicked, and he had ulterior motives. So be wary of those that are coming, because they're just amazed by what's in your house. They're amazed by what's in your church. They're amazed by your gifts. They're amazed by what you have. And they want to come in with snakes and serpents and try to push and break through boundaries. But they're not coming with goodwill, and they're not authorized. They're not authorized. And I think this could apply to leadership, of being wary, and I think it also could apply to individuals' lives, of you being wary of who you allow into your life, into your ministry, into your plans, into your businesses. And and I thought, okay, God, what does the breakup story have to do? I mean, the breakup song, the other scene, the breakup song have to do with this, and the fact that, one person probably thought, oh, this sounds like a club banger, and I was so focused on it. I was so focused on it being a song that would strengthen someone and have them strengthened during a breakup. And I think that what God is saying with that is that it is, help me, Holy Spirit, help me, Lord. I believe that breakup song is God saying you need to break up with the ties that you have to those snakes, if you already have them, that there are some people who already have bonded with snakes, and that there are some people, ministries, churches, people of God that have joined with joined acquaintances, have allowed these snakes in, have allowed them to come in, and you got to break it up. You have to break it up. You got to break it up. It is time to break it up. And it is, you need to stop partying with these. Stop partying with them. Break it up. And although it may feel like a heartbreak, heartbreaking to you, He will strengthen you in the process. He will give you what you need to be strong through that breakup. But it's time to break it up. It's time to break up, whether you are a ministry leader or a in the church body, person in relationship, family. I don't know who or what, but I know something in this dream is significant to it's significant. God is trying to make a point here. Now I just need to know if this is a word, a dream given to me for specifically, well, I believe it is something I need to share with my leadership. I think it's a word specific for all leaders and during this time, and for individuals as well, people in relationships that is not authorized, people in business covenants that is not authorized, and people who are have allowed people to cross boundaries, to slip through, and to it's a message for all. So I just have to pray about how to deliver it, because if He gives it to me, He gives it to me not to keep for myself, but to share. This is one of those things that I know is to share, to pray about and to share. God bless.